All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another installment of the marvelous, wonderful Vendo Velocity podcast. As you all know, we're live every other Tuesday with marketplace updates, thought leadership, amazing guests, amazing teammates. Very excited for today's conversation. As you all know, my name is Gefen. I'm the SVP of advertising here at Vendo. Today, we're going to be talking about driving Instacart sales in 2025. There's a ton to cover, and there's nobody better to have than Mr. Jordan Davis. Jordan, if you want to do a quick intro, then we will dive into fun stuff.
Yeah, no, my name is Jordan Davis. I'm the retail media advertising manager here at Vendo. I work with Instacart almost daily, so I'm really excited to talk about it today. It's definitely ever since I've started working with Instacart, I feel like it's grown a lot. I've learned a lot more, and I feel like there's so much to it. It's a massive service that I'm just super excited to talk about today. I think it's huge for a lot of these brands.
We're super excited. Well, I guess, Jordan, we can start kind of off the tail end of the last couple of weeks. Jordan and I were out at Instacart's, one of Instacart's headquarters out in New York, having some good meetings with the team there. And I guess, Jordan, just to start from a high level, how does Instacart, from a retail media standpoint, how does Instacart play into this year? Like, are we excited about their prospects? How are we feeling about their advertising development, their growth, their tech stack, et cetera? What does it look out for 2025 look like for Instacart?
Yeah, I feel like for Instacart, there's a lot going on with it. I mean, just like I said earlier, they are constantly changing, trying to give both the best customer experience, as well as also giving every brand the availability to a great advertising experience as well. There's a lot of beta platforms that are coming down the pipeline that we're really excited for just throughout the year. Even since we started working with them, like there's, just over the last couple of months, there have been updates. So it seems like there's always something new, and you could always check in a couple of months, and then all of a sudden you'll have a new feature to utilize. So it's really, really exciting. I think that 2025 is going to be a big year with some of these things that are going to be coming down the pipeline. Just the ability for the different abilities that we'll have to advertise, and the different things we can utilize. I think it's going to be massive for any brand that's going to be utilizing Instacart this year.
Yeah, can you tell people just about, because I know that we're talking about utilizing different ad types. What are the ad types available on Instacart?
Yeah, so the main ad types, you're going to have your bread and butter, the sponsored product. So showing up on search terms, basically, if you're searching up anything, you're going to have that as one of the main product images. And then the other one type would be sponsored display. This can show up in a lot of different types. It's going to be sponsored display video. So if you scroll down a little bit, it's going to be there's going to be a video there that you can click on, go check out the product, the brand store page, things like that. But then you have multiple different types of sponsored display. You have a shoppable display ad type that basically will have a custom image and then a list of different products that you can select in your area. So obviously with Instacart, it's a very location-based advertisement. So if you're in Tulsa, there's going to be different products that will show up there. Whatever products are available in Tulsa for that specific store, you're going to be able to shop specifically off of that. Or if you're, somewhere in Washington, you'll have a different type. Like you'll be able to have whatever products are in that area. And so the shoppable display is super easy for customers to click on. I mean, they'll be able to, if they're scrolling through, they can see the custom image, click on the product, add it straight to their cart directly from the display. And then the regular display type, you can click in, get driven to a brand store, and shop whatever that brand has to offer in that area and in that store, or whatever retailer that you're shopping from.
How much of our spend is allocated to each of those types, roughly?
I would say that it really depends brand by brand, but I would say anywhere between 20 to 30% is going to be going to display types, and then about 70 to 80% would be going to our sponsored product. It's really the bread and butter, but I do think that having large amount of your spend going to the sponsored display is huge because it takes up such a big part of the screen, and there's a lot of different things you can really utilize with that, which we'll talk about soon too.
Yeah, sure. Well, let's dive into the things we can use. So I guess, as we talk strategies, right? Like obviously a lot of the viewership here, they understand digital advertising, they understand marketplace advertising, probably Amazon or Walmart or something like that. Are there core differences with Instacart from a strategic standpoint versus some of those other large platforms?
I would say that they do have some similarities, but I would say that the big difference is going to be the way that you can drive the brand to the different brand stores. So if you have certain promotions going on, let's say there's nationwide promotions for your brand for specific products, or whether it's a holiday campaign, or we're just coming out of January, February, so like new year, new you can have specific promotions like that, drive them to a specific brand store or a promotion type, and have your sponsored display ad, whether it is shoppable display or just driving directly to a brand store, mimic that store type, and then have your custom brand store have all the different promotion facts, and you have a lot of customization. You can tell a full story with these brand stores, and essentially have everything connected. I would say that the ease of the connection between the sponsored display and the brand stores is absolutely massive. It really gives everything, full circle. And it really is big. We can utilize it for a lot of, whether it's a tentpole event or any sort of, nationwide promotion that you might be utilizing across, not just Instacart, but let's say you're doing it off platform, things like that. You can have everything kind of wrap up into one giant bundle.
Yeah. And just a reminder to everybody. So obviously, for those who are looking to advertise on Instacart, that means that you have some level of an in-store presence. So just a couple of reminders. So number one, Instacart is retailer agnostic, which means that if you're advertising just on the Instacart platform, we'll talk about their Carrot network in a little bit, but if you're advertising just on the Instacart platform, then you have really no ability to choose which regions you want to advertise or specify from, at least from a sponsored product standpoint, as well as which retailers. That being said, you will only show in the regions and zip codes that your product can be delivered in. So that's a really important thing. But overall, if you are present in a bunch of different retailers, if you decide to put a sponsored product campaign up there, you will show to people who are buying from those retailers. And so strategically, from a sponsored product standpoint, that doesn't change much versus some of the other platforms out there. But from a kind of larger 30,000 foot business objective, it might change the way that you're looking at allocating spend, because even though Instacart has a phenomenal ROAS, has a great impulse purchase or point of sale purchase rate, obviously it is spread out, and they are designed to drive retail sales, right? So you're not necessarily seeing $1 in your pocket as you would say on Amazon and Walmart.com. But you do move those units in those retailers and you increase store velocity. So that's a very important difference. And Jordan, can you do geo-targeting or zip code targeting with sponsored display on Instacart or no?
From what we aren't able to. It's very much it shows up wherever the product is, very retail agnostic, similar to what you said.
Got it. And I guess on that note, then, are there any forms of more customizable targeting, or is it still very general?
I would say that the we can customize based off of shoppers' behaviors. So there's a lot of shopper behavior targeting that we're able to do. So whether we're targeting people that are new to brand, who've been purchasing in your category, haven't purchased your product or one of your brands, or have purchased from your brand but haven't purchased a certain product, if you're trying to push something new. So there's a lot more shopper behaviors that we're able to target over specific demographics.
So we can do demographic targeting.
We can do your shopper behavior targeting. So yes.
Okay. Is it just behavior, or can we choose demographics?
It's mainly behavior is what we can.
Okay. So at the very least, you have the sponsored display retargeting feature that we can start implementing. Obviously, you can utilize certain DSPs to drive to Instacart, which is a different conversation. But largely, behavioral retargeting is going to come from sponsored display. And Jordan, is that on and off site or just on site?
On site only. You can I believe you can utilize with other things, but with most of this is all going to be on site.
Yeah, my guess is we're going to have probably a situation eventually where they're going to have some form of offsite display capability.
Yeah, I believe so as well.
So are there any other unique features to the platform that that you're aware of?
I would say that the some of the main unique things would be obviously the behavior targeting. I mean, that is something that we can utilize across some other platforms, but the ease of use there, like it is very quick and easy to create these audiences. So I would say that's really unique because, sometimes when you're trying to create an audience, you have to go in and, it takes a lot of time. It's very easy for the advertiser itself to get these things set up and active. The other really unique thing would be the ability to see, your share of your category share directly on platform. Typically, whenever you want to see something like that, you'd have to reach out to somebody or go in and try and get this data from somewhere else. Like it's all right there for you. And so I'd say that a lot of the great things about Instacart is the ease of use for any advertiser or any brand that's going to be on it. And it's very, very special for very unique for them. But the share of digital shelf space is great. You can see where you're ranking for your product. So your brand basically see, okay, I'm ranked number 4 out of this category. And then you can change around your categories if you show up in different spots. And essentially also see, okay, how is my growth? Am I growing, over the last 90 days? Am I seeing the growth? Am I seeing a drop? And that really helps you utilize, make certain strategic changes on your ad types, because you're like, okay, if I am dropping in category share, let's try and figure out a new way to target more new to brand customers so that I know that I can start growing that share again. And just the fact that it's right there, quick at your hand or right at your hands, it's super nice and very unique that a lot of other platforms don't have it. The speed that you can make changes is super quick.
And how is their reporting? Is it real-time reporting? Is there a delay in terms of any of the data you're seeing inside the console?
I would say that the ads themselves, it takes about a day to log in. You can see your spend, but the sales take a little bit to hit throughout the day. But I wouldn't say it's more than a day, delay between your spend and sales.
Sure.
So now, it's very, very quick.
Are we able to look at any form of category or ranking data? Like any of the analytics, anything like that? Can we get that either from the Instacart reps themselves, or is it available on platform?
Yeah, the Instacart reps will typically give you stuff. And then I would also say that we're not able to see brand specific for other brands, like, brand A, brand B. We can't see those specific numbers, but we can see how much certain brands have, or they'll be, what's the name? The names will be redacted, but essentially it will say like brand 1 has 9%, brand 2 has 6%, and then brand 3 could be you and you have 4%. You're able to see category share by brand essentially and see how you do work towards other brands as well there.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's a really big point. I think that the importance, I mean, we love the Instacart team. We love working with them. We love how they kind of provide as much information as we can request, which I love. And they're super great to work with. It's just important that you follow up and ask them for that information, because they're not going to be, it's the same with any platform. It's the same as the Amazon ad reps, the Walmart Connect reps, et cetera. You have to be the one to ask for that information, but the Instacart reps are more than happy to test. They're more than happy to kind of experiment with you and find the right mix of spend for your business, which I think is really important. And I'm really excited, I think, for the ways that Instacart is building out their kind of rep business, because we're now going to have, dedicated reps for each brand, as well as an agency level rep too. And it's really important if you're a brand, especially just starting out, to leverage as much as possible from them. Of course, always a grain of salt. Their objective is to get you to spend more, most likely. But I will say, relative to the rest of the platforms and retail media networks out there, Instacart's reps are the most willing to say, hey, this is the best breakdown of strategy, of spend, of targeting for your specific brand based on the data that's in the Instacart platform. So they're not just blanketly trying to get you to spend more. They are, however, still incentivized to do so.
Yeah, I would definitely say that like one thing that the Instacart teams are able to utilize are basically your win rates, or like how often you're live for auctions. So by campaign, they'll be able to tell you, hey, you missed X amount of auctions because of your budget, X amount because you weren't bidding high enough, and you're winning this amount. And really they'll tell you that like you can get a list of everything that where you could spend more, but really what they'll focus on is like the main action items that they know we can action on, and be like, okay, you are missing here, here, and here, but really we should focus on campaign A, B, and C to make sure these are going to be the quicker changes that we can do. Let's increase our target ROAS, or let's increase our bids on these to get a little bit more visibility on this, because you are losing a lot of these bids. They're losing auctions due to the bids versus budgets. So I'd say that they do help prioritize those action items, and they give you a lot of good insights on like where you can be shifting spend around if they do see the ability to.
Got it. And then looking down the pipeline as far as product roadmap, talk to me a little about Instacart's Carrot Network.
Yeah, so I'd say that the Carrot Network is really unique. I mean, obviously, for those who aren't super familiar with Instacart, you do have the ability to, if you search up on Instacart, you're able to have your product show up on, all these different types of retailers, and that's, your basic Instacart experience, and this is what a lot of brands will utilize. But then when you start diving into it, there are certain stores that will utilize they call it the Carrot Network, and these ones are going to be specifically for that store alone. So if you are not showing up in a lot of stores, but you are showing up in something like a Sprouts or something like that, you're able to really focus in and put all of your ad dollars specifically to that store. Not every store has that, but there are certain stores, and it has been growing, that have been utilizing the Carrot Network. And you basically, if you are on Instacart solely there, you will be able to push all your dollars specifically to that retailer versus driving dollars across, multiple different retailers across the US. You're able to have your focus really honed in onto one or two stores. And I think it's huge, because I feel like, it is nice to have your spend go across the board. If you are, a very nationwide brand, it's huge to show up in as many spots as possible. But if you are, let's say you are a smaller brand and you are, only showing up in certain stores, and if the Carrot Network is if the store is something that utilizes that Carrot Network, then it's huge to utilize, because then that you're going to be spending dollars specifically in that area and have like specific targeting for just that store alone.
Yeah, so the Carrot Network is going to be really interesting. I mean, that's Instacart's bid into being the partner for a couple of these retailers, and it's some of the I don't want to say smaller, because something like Sprouts is not necessarily small, but definitely the not super established ones, or ones that are looking to build out their own retail media networks from a self-serve perspective. So it'll be really interesting to see how Instacart balances their generic or general non or more retailer agnostic ad build out versus something a little bit more specific in their Carrot Network that's tailored to some of the smaller retailers. Okay, cool. So I think that covers everything. I guess if there's one nugget or recommendation that you have for the people listening, what would you say is the best little strategy nugget that you could give regarding Instacart?
I would say utilize everything possible. Utilize every sort of, I feel like it's with almost any ad service, but I'd say utilize all your ad services and really just dive into your creative. I think that really the use of the sponsor display is massive. And if you're trying to grow your category share to show up for certain keywords, and taking up a lot of those top spots is going to be massive. And there's so much customizability. Really, really hone into it. Utilize your evergreen strategies, but then also dive into anything that's seasonal as well. I think we've seen a lot of good success with a lot of seasonal stuff. With custom brand pages, custom display, really dive into anything seasonal as well, and really just take advantage of it. And then outside of that, I would say that keep in constant contact with your Instacart reps. If you're not talking to your Instacart reps much, try and do so, because they can give you so much help, and they'll notify you anything that's coming down the pipeline. We have great connections with ours, and so it's really useful, and they're always there to help. And like you said, they'll give you help if you ask for it, or point you in the right direction, or try and help customize whatever you need there. So.
Yeah, I think that's a really great piece of advice. I think that the importance of staying on top of those types of strategies is crucial, especially because Instacart, to their credit, is such a rapidly changing platform. Making sure that you're aware of what those changes are, and listening to podcasts like Vendo Velocity, where we can drop these nuggets and continue sharing what we're finding success on with the broader e-commerce space. So on that note, Jordan, I really appreciate you taking the time. As you all know, Instacart is just a piece of kind of our larger retail media offering, but it does sit largely at the crux of that, considering it deals with almost all retailers. So please, if you do have any questions, strategies, interested in us having us manage your brands, please feel free to reach out to myself at Gefen@vendocommerce.com, to Jordan at jordan.davis@vendocommerce.com. And really excited to continue this growth. Jordan, thank you for joining. And everybody else.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you all, of course.